Have you ever wondered how just two words could shape the entire trajectory of your life? Two simple syllables, spoken in the quiet of your mind or whispered into the night, carrying the power to build you or to break you. I am. For most of us, these words slip through unnoticed, woven into everyday sentences like fragile threads. I am tired. I am unlucky. I am not enough. Yet behind these phrases lies a force so immense, so profoundly creative, that ancient mystics, modern psychologists, and today's manifestation gurus all point to it as the root of transformation. Imagine, for a moment, that your subconscious is not a silent passenger, but the unseen architect of your destiny. It listens, patiently and without judgment, to every phrase you attach to the words, I am. It doesn't ask whether the statement is true. It doesn't debate with you. It simply takes those declarations as instructions, quietly rewriting your reality in the shadows of your mind. What if all along you have been programming your future without even knowing it? This is the story of the I Am method, and tonight we will journey together into the secret corridors of your subconscious, a place where words are not merely sounds, but seeds, where identity is not discovered, but created. And the question we must ask is simple yet haunting. What have you been telling yourself you are? Because here lies the paradox. Every human being longs for love, for success, for confidence. Yet we sabotage ourselves with unconscious scripts passed down from parents, teachers, society. I am not good enough. I am unlucky. I am destined to struggle. Each repetition etches grooves into the subconscious until one day we no longer question the story. We simply live it. But what if we could rewrite the script? What if we could harness the raw power of those two words and consciously attach them to a vision of who we want to become? I am worthy. I am strong. I am abundant. These are not just affirmations. They are commands, orders to the deepest part of your mind that shapes your beliefs, your habits, your reality. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The I Am method is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to bring that unconscious into the light. By choosing your I Am, you reclaim authorship of your story. Pause with me here. What was the last I Am you said about yourself today? Was it empowering, or was it a silent sabotage? In the next moments, we will uncover how this method is not a modern Instagram trend, but a timeless truth echoed across philosophies and spiritual traditions. We will dive into the psychology of the subconscious mind, the science of affirmations, and the lived experiences of people who transformed their lives by reprogramming those two words. But first, let us go back to the beginning, to the child you once were. Picture it, a small room, perhaps the smell of crayons, the sound of distant voices. You looked into a mirror once and whispered something to yourself. Maybe you said, I am smart. Maybe you said, I am stupid. And in that moment, a seed was planted. That seed grew into the self-image you carry now, shaping every decision, every risk, every relationship. The subconscious does not forget, it only obeys. Now imagine rewriting that childhood script, not by erasing the past, but by planting new seeds today. I am healing. I am enough. I am powerful. Feel how those words land, not just in your mind, but in your body. Your chest softens, your breath deepens, your posture shifts slightly taller. That is the power of the subconscious responding in real time. This is where our journey begins. 2 words, infinite possibilities. And as we go deeper, you will see how to turn this from a fragile affirmation into an unshakable truth etched into your very being. So stay with me, because what follows may just be the turning point, the moment you stop living as a victim of your old I am and start creating a new one. Have you chosen yours yet?
To understand the power of I am, we must first step into the mysterious depths of the subconscious mind. Psychology often divides the human psyche into 3 layers: the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. The conscious is what you're aware of right now, the words you hear, the light in your room, the thought echoing in your head as you listen. But the subconscious, that is the silent reservoir beneath the surface, the place where memory, belief, and emotion weave together into the fabric of who you think you are. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, described the unconscious as a vast ocean. The conscious mind, he said, is like a small boat floating on its surface. You may believe you're steering the boat, but the currents beneath, the subconscious patterns, instincts, and archetypes are the forces that truly carry you forward. Until you confront them, you are not the captain of your life. You are merely a passenger. This is where the words I am become more than just language. They are keys capable of unlocking the subconscious. When you attach a belief to those words, your subconscious accepts it without resistance. I am weak. I am broken. I am strong. I am unstoppable. Each declaration is like a seed planted into fertile soil. The soil does not ask if the seed is good or bad. It simply nurtures it until it grows. Pause for a moment. Reflect on this. How many times have you repeated negative I am statements without even noticing? I am always late. I am terrible with money. I am unlucky in love. You thought you were just venting frustration, but your subconscious was listening, and every repetition etched the belief deeper until it became your lived reality. But here's the secret. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. That's why athletes rehearse victories in their minds, why visionaries visualize their goals, why affirmations work. When you declare, I am confident, and repeat it with emotion and consistency, your subconscious starts to align your behavior, your posture, even your opportunities to match that belief. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Carl Jung would argue that the unconscious holds both our shadow, the rejected parts of ourselves, and our potential. The I am method shines a light into that darkness. Every time you consciously choose a new I am, you are reclaiming a fragment of power that was once lost. Let me take you into a story. Imagine a young woman named Elena. For most of her life, she carried the script, I am invisible. She was the quiet one in school, the overlooked one in work meetings, the friend who blended into the background. That phrase, I am invisible, wasn't something she spoke aloud often, but it pulsed quietly in her subconscious. It shaped how she walked, how she avoided eye contact, how she accepted jobs beneath her potential. One day, after stumbling on a book about affirmations, she decided to try something different. It felt silly at first, almost laughable, but she stood before her mirror and whispered, I am seen. I am worthy of attention. She repeated it daily, sometimes without belief, sometimes through tears, but slowly something shifted. Her posture straightened. She began speaking up in meetings. She wore colors she once thought were too loud. Within a year, her life looked unrecognizable. Promotions, relationships, opportunities, all because she rewrote her I am. Now pause again. What is your I am right now? Not the one you show to the world, but the one that plays silently in the background. Is it empowering you or caging you? Science supports this too. Neuroscience shows that repetition of affirmations can strengthen neural pathways. The more you declare a statement, especially with emotion, the more your brain wires itself to believe it. Over time, the line between belief and reality blurs. You stop forcing confidence and start embodying it. Yet skeptics often ask, isn't this just wishful thinking? The answer lies in how the subconscious works. When you declare, I am confident, your subconscious doesn't magically make you bold overnight. Instead, it starts nudging you toward behaviors aligned with confidence. You notice opportunities to speak up. You feel the urge to stand taller. You take risks you once avoided. Slowly, reality begins to match the belief. This is why the I am method is not mere fluff. It is psychology meeting practice, spirituality meeting science. It is about choosing the seeds you want to plant instead of leaving your subconscious to grow weeds of fear and doubt. And here's the beautiful truth. Your subconscious has no expiration date. It doesn't matter if you've spent decades telling yourself, I am not enough. The moment you choose a new declaration, the rewiring begins. It may take time, persistence, emotion, but change is inevitable. So let me ask you again, what I am are you ready to let go of tonight? And what I am are you brave enough to claim? Because as Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But with the I am method, fate is no longer something you suffer. It is something you create.
The story of I am is not confined to dusty philosophy books or quiet therapy rooms. It has lived, breathing examples across the world's stage. People whose lives transformed because they dared to speak a new identity into being. Think of Muhammad Ali, who stood before the world and declared, I am the greatest. At the time, he was not the champion. He had not yet won the fights that would etch his name into history, but those words became a prophecy. He repeated them, embodied them, believed them before anyone else did. His subconscious took them as a blueprint, and the world eventually followed. Or Oprah Winfrey, who grew up in poverty and abuse with every external reason to say, I am broken. Instead, she chose a new declaration. I am destined for something more. Her affirmations of worth, her constant reminders to herself that she was valuable, rewired the narrative of her life. From a forgotten child in Mississippi to one of the most influential women alive, her story is proof that I am is more than just grammar. It is destiny spoken aloud. Jim Carrey, long before he was a household name, wrote himself a check for $10 million. On the memo line, he scribbled, for acting services rendered. He carried that check in his wallet, and with it, a silent mantra, I am a successful actor. Years later, he received a movie role that paid him $10 million. Coincidence? Or the subconscious aligning with the reality he insisted upon? These are not isolated stories. Athletes visualize victories. Entrepreneurs declare abundance. Artists affirm creativity. The common thread? They choose their I am before the world confirms it.
They program their subconscious to act, feel, and seek in alignment with that identity until it becomes undeniable. Now let's connect this to manifestation, a word that has captured the imagination of millions across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Many see manifestation as magical thinking. Close your eyes, whisper a desire, and wait. But the deeper truth is psychological. When you declare, "I am wealthy," or "I am loved," your subconscious begins to filter reality differently. Suddenly, you notice opportunities that align with wealth. You recognize kindness and love where you once overlooked it. The reticular activating system in your brain, the filter between you and the flood of sensory input, starts spotlighting what matches your chosen I am. It's not that the universe drops wealth or love out of the sky. It's that your mind becomes attuned to the paths, people, and choices that create them. This is the hidden science beneath the spiritual language. Manifestation is simply subconscious alignment. But here is where many people fail. They say the words half-heartedly, once or twice, and then claim the method does not work. Imagine planting a seed and walking away. Would you expect a tree overnight? The I Am method requires repetition, emotion, and embodiment. Your subconscious needs consistency to rewire decades of old programming. So how do you begin? Step 1. Choose your I Am. Not 10 of them, not 50. Start with 1. Pick the identity that feels most urgent for you. Do you need confidence, healing, abundance, love? Focus on the one that makes your chest ache with longing. That is the seed to plant. Step 2. Repeat it daily. Morning is powerful. The subconscious is most suggestible when you first wake up. Look into the mirror, say it aloud, whisper it if you must, write it down. Let it become the rhythm of your morning breath. Step 3. Attach emotion. Words without feeling are hollow. When you say, "I am confident," recall a moment you felt even a spark of confidence. Relive it. Let your body feel taller, your chest expand, your eyes soften with certainty. Anchor the affirmation in emotion. The subconscious listens to feeling more than sound. Step 4. Weave it into routine. Don't confine your I Am to a ritual in the morning. Repeat it while you walk, when you cook, when you catch yourself slipping into old self-talk. Replace "I am tired" with "I am recharging." Replace "I am unlucky" with "I am learning." Over time, it becomes less of a practice and more of a truth. Now pause for a moment. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you committed to this. If every day you fed your subconscious a new identity, would you walk differently? Speak differently? Would your choices, relationships, career look the same? Remember Elena, the woman who transformed "I am invisible" into "I am seen." Her story is not extraordinary because of wealth or fame. It is extraordinary because it shows that change is possible for anyone. She didn't need millions of followers or cosmic miracles. She needed consistency in 2 words. And perhaps that is the secret we resist most. The power to transform has always been this simple. 2 words, spoken with intention, lived with repetition, etched into the deepest chambers of the mind until reality bends to match them. So ask yourself, what would happen if tonight you chose not just to say "I am enough," but to live as though it were already true?
If the I Am method feels almost too simple, that's because its strength lies not in complexity, but in consistency. Psychology and neuroscience reveal why it works. At the heart of human behavior is a truth James Clear captured in Atomic Habits. Every action you take is a vote for the person you believe you are. Habits are not just behaviors, they are identities solidified through repetition. Think of it like this. When you say, "I am a runner," you don't just describe an activity, you claim an identity. Suddenly, going for a run is not about forcing yourself into exercise. It is about being consistent with who you already believe you are. The subconscious hates conflict. If you tell it, "I am a runner," and you don't run, you feel the friction of dissonance. So the subconscious nudges you subtly, insistently, toward behaviors that match the declaration. This is the hidden mechanism behind "I am." Your subconscious will fight to make reality consistent with identity. If your identity is "I am anxious," your body will seek situations to validate it. If your identity is "I am resilient," you will find yourself rising faster after setbacks. Neuroscience adds another layer. Deep within your brain lies the reticular activating system, a filter that decides what information reaches your awareness. Right now, there are millions of stimuli bombarding your senses. The RAS chooses which ones to highlight. And what guides its choice? Your beliefs and identity. If you declare, "I am unlucky," your RAS will spotlight every setback, every rejection, every missed opportunity. If you declare, "I am abundant," your RAS begins to notice opportunities, solutions, even coincidences that align with wealth and growth. This is not magic, it is selective attention, guided by identity. What you declare shapes what you see, and what you see determines what you act upon. Over time, your reality shifts, not because the world changed overnight, but because you began to notice and create what was always there. Pause with me here. Reflect. What does your RAS highlight every day? Do you constantly notice problems, obstacles, betrayals? Or do you see possibilities, kindness, and openings? Your answer reveals the "I am" that rules your subconscious. Consider the story of Daniel, a man who carried the phrase, "I am cursed." Every time something went wrong, his car broke down, his relationship ended, his business failed, he whispered those words, sometimes aloud, sometimes only in thought. His subconscious obeyed, narrowing his vision until every setback seemed proof of his curse. One day, at the insistence of a friend, he tried shifting the phrase. He resisted at first. It felt dishonest. But he began saying, "I am learning. I am resilient." Slowly, his perception changed. Breakdowns became lessons. Failures became pivots. He noticed opportunities in conversations he would have dismissed. Within 2 years, the man who once called himself cursed was running a thriving business. Same world, same city, same circumstances. Different "I am." Science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Every repetition of "I am" strengthens certain neural pathways, making them easier to fire. Think of it like carving a trail in the forest. At first, the path is overgrown, difficult to walk, but with each repetition, each declaration, the trail clears. Eventually, it becomes the obvious automatic route. The old paths, unused, grow over with weeds. Your identity changes not by one leap, but by countless steps whispered in the form of "I am." This is why affirmations alone are not enough. They must be embodied. If you say, "I am confident," but never act, your subconscious senses the contradiction. But if you take even small steps, holding eye contact, speaking up once, standing taller, your subconscious aligns the identity with behavior. Affirmation plus action is the formula for transformation. So, let us return to you. Ask yourself honestly, what are the unconscious I am statements guiding your days? And more importantly, are you willing to replace them? Because here's the truth most people avoid. Holding on to an old I am is comfortable. Saying, I am not enough may hurt, but it feels familiar. Familiarity is safe. Declaring, I am powerful feels risky. What if you fail? What if the world laughs? But remember this, your subconscious does not care about your fear of ridicule. It only obeys repetition. And the more courageously you repeat the empowering I am, the more natural it becomes until the fear fades. Let me ask you this. If in the quiet of your room tonight, no one listening, no one judging, you could declare a new I am, what would it be? Would you dare to say, I am healed? Would you dare to whisper, I am loved? Would you dare to claim, I am unstoppable? These questions are not just poetic, they are invitations. Invitations to plant a new seed in the soil of your subconscious, to water it daily with repetition and emotion, to let it grow into a tree whose branches reach every corner of your life. And here is where the I am method intersects with the science of habits. Repetition builds identity, and identity drives behavior. The loop is complete. Choose wisely what you repeat, because repetition becomes reality.
The beauty of the I am method is that it does not live in a single dimension. Once you understand its mechanics, you can aim it at any area of life: money, love, confidence, healing, purpose. Each I am is a doorway into a new reality. Let's begin with money. For many, wealth feels like a distant dream. Subconsciously, they repeat phrases like, I am bad with money. I am always in debt. I am unlucky with finances. These declarations become scripts, quietly sabotaging every opportunity for growth. Even when money arrives, the subconscious drives behaviors that repel it because it must remain consistent with the identity. But when someone shifts to, I am abundant, I am capable of creating wealth, I am a magnet for opportunities, their subconscious begins filtering reality differently. They notice possibilities they once ignored. They take risks aligned with growth. They learn skills with confidence instead of shame. Over time, their financial reality bends to match the identity. Now, shift the lens to love. Perhaps you've heard someone say, I am unlovable. I am always abandoned. I am destined to be alone. These aren't just words, they are chains. The subconscious, obedient as ever, ensures relationships unfold to confirm them. Partners are chosen who mirror rejection. Acts of love are overlooked. But when the script is rewritten, I am worthy of love, I am magnetic, I am capable of deep connection, the subconscious opens the door to relationships that align. Self-sabotage lessens. Walls begin to fall. The person moves from chasing love to embodying it. And then, confidence. Perhaps the most universal struggle. How many silently repeat, I am shy, I am anxious, I am awkward. Every declaration digs the grooves deeper. Social situations become stages of fear. But when someone dares to say, I am confident, I am comfortable in my skin, I am powerful, the subconscious receives a new command.
Small actions follow: better posture, steadier voice, bolder choices. Confidence is no longer a trait reserved for others, it becomes lived reality. This is why the I Am method lends itself to a series. Imagine waking each day with a new focus. I am money, wealth and abundance. I am love, connection and worthiness. I am confidence, inner strength and presence. I am healing, restoration of body and mind. I am purpose, clarity and direction and destiny. Each focus becomes a lens. Each lens reshapes the subconscious. Each reshaping shifts reality. Pause for a moment. If you could dedicate 1 month to a single I am, which one would you choose first? Would you start with healing so every other area could grow from a strong foundation? Or would you begin with confidence so your voice could rise where once it trembled? Here's the hidden power. You do not have to choose forever. You can rotate. A season for wealth, a season for love, a season for confidence. Like chapters in the same book, each I am builds upon the last until your subconscious no longer carries the old scripts of limitation, but a symphony of empowerment. Yet remember this, it's not enough to whisper the words. You must embody them. If you say, I am abundant, but you hoard fearfully, the subconscious senses the contradiction. If you say, I am loved, but you reject kindness, the script fractures. Affirmation and action must walk hand in hand. Let me ask you this. What is the first action you would take tomorrow if you truly believed your chosen I am? Would you speak differently? Spend differently? Walk differently? That action, no matter how small, becomes the proof your subconscious needs. And if this resonates with you, if you're finding yourself drawn deeper into this journey, remember, Misty Wave is where these cinematic explorations unfold week after week. Subscribe now and let every video become another step into the subconscious. Stay, because the next chapter may carry the very I am you've been searching for. Now let's return. The reason this method feels almost mystical is because it mirrors the process of creation itself. Every great story begins with a declaration. The universe, the ancients believed, was spoken into being. Words are not sounds, they are forces. And the most powerful of them are the ones you attach to identity. Think again of Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. Of Oprah, I am destined. Of Jim Carrey, I am successful. None of them waited for proof before declaring it. They declared it until the world had no choice to follow. And here you are tonight, holding the same power in your hands. 2 words, infinite futures. So I will ask you again, what I am will you carry with you when the screen fades and the night grows silent? Because whether you choose consciously or not, your subconscious will carry one. Better that you choose it with intention.
But let us be honest. The moment you begin declaring a new I am, resistance rises. The conscious mind argues. The old subconscious scripts whisper louder. You say, I am confident, and a voice snaps back. No, you're not. Remember the time you froze in that meeting? You whisper, I am loved, and memory stirs. Then why did they leave you? This is where most people give up, confusing the voice of the past with the truth of the present. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, the tension that arises when your new identity clashes with the old one. The brain craves harmony, so when you introduce a new I am that contradicts years of lived belief, the system fights back. It floods you with doubt, with examples of failure, with discomfort. Not because the new identity is false, but because it is unfamiliar. Imagine your subconscious as a loyal servant who has been carrying out the same orders for decades. Suddenly, you give it a new command. It hesitates. It questions, not out of malice, but habit. The servant asks, "Are you sure? You've always said you are weak. You've always declared you are unlucky. Do you really mean this new order?" This is the stage where most quit. They mistake discomfort for proof of impossibility. But in truth, discomfort is the sign of change. Resistance is not failure. It is confirmation that you are rewriting the script. Pause with me here. Reflect. When was the last time you tried to change and felt that inner voice of doubt? Did you surrender to it? Or did you keep repeating until the new voice grew stronger? Let us return to Elena for a moment, the woman who once whispered, "I am invisible." In her first weeks of practice, the affirmations felt false. She laughed at herself in the mirror, sometimes even cried. Every time she declared, "I am seen," memories of being overlooked came flooding back. But she pressed on, and one day she noticed something. The voice of doubt had grown quieter. The phrase, "I am seen," no longer felt like a lie. It felt like a possibility. Weeks later, it felt like a truth. This transition is crucial. It is the bridge between the old and new self. And on that bridge, the shadows of self-doubt lurk. Carl Jung called this the confrontation with the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we would rather deny. When you declare, "I am confident," your shadow will surface every moment of insecurity. When you say, "I am loved," your shadow will parade every wound of rejection. Not to destroy you, but to be acknowledged, to be integrated. The key is persistence. Every time the shadow whispers, you repeat the declaration. Every time doubt rises, you anchor it with emotion. Over time, the subconscious accepts the new identity, not because you silenced the shadow, but because you embraced it without letting it define you. Science supports this as well. Research on habit formation shows that new behaviors often feel unnatural for weeks, sometimes months. The brain resists, preferring well-worn pathways. But with repetition, the resistance weakens. The new becomes familiar. The unfamiliar becomes second nature. So let me ask you, how often have you abandoned change simply because it felt false in the beginning? How many times did you walk away just before the new identity could take root? Imagine a sculptor standing before a block of marble. The first strikes feel awkward, uncertain. The stone resists. Dust clouds the air. But with each strike, the form begins to emerge. The sculptor does not quit because the statue is not yet visible. He trusts that persistence will reveal what was always hidden inside. The I am method is no different. Each repetition is a strike at the marble of the subconscious, and eventually the masterpiece appears.
Yes, you will feel false at first. Yes, the old voice will argue. But remember, the loudest resistance often comes just before the breakthrough. So when you declare your new I am tonight,
and the old script sneers in reply. Smile, because that is not proof of failure. It is proof that the old story is trembling. It knows its time is ending. And when that moment comes, hold firm, whisper again, anchor again, breathe again, until one day the voice of doubt fades and the declaration becomes not just words, but identity. Now ask yourself, what shadow would surface if you declared your new I am tonight? What pain, what doubt, what memory would rise to test you? And are you willing to face it, not as an enemy, but as the final guardian of your new self?
Across cultures and centuries, the words I am have carried sacred weight. In ancient scriptures, they were not just phrases of identity, they were echoes of divinity. In the Hebrew Bible, when Moses asked for God's name, the reply came, I am that I am. In Eastern philosophies, mantras of self-identification, so hum in Sanskrit, meaning I am that, have been chanted for thousands of years. In mystic traditions, the declaration of being is considered the bridge between the human and the eternal. It is almost as if the universe has been whispering the same truth across languages and ages. What you declare yourself to be, you become. Now pair this with modern science. Neuroplasticity tells us the brain reshapes itself based on repeated input. Cognitive psychology confirms that identity drives behavior. The placebo effect shows us that belief alone can trigger healing responses in the body. Every experiment points to the same conclusion. The mind is not a passive observer. It is a sculptor of reality. When you say, I am strong, your body responds. When you whisper, I am healing, your immune system engages. When you declare, I am loved, your perception shifts to notice kindness, connection, warmth. Spirit and science, once ought to be rivals, now converge on a single truth. Your words shape your world. Pause here for a moment. Reflect. What if the greatest technology you will ever hold is not in your hand, but in your tongue? What if the future you long for has been waiting on two words you have neglected to speak? Let's look at real lives. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, could have declared, I am defeated. Instead, he carried the identity, I am free in my spirit. That declaration sustained him through decades of darkness until the world caught up with the truth he had already claimed. Or consider Maya Angelou, who declared, I am a phenomenal woman, not because society confirmed it, but because she chose it. Her words became her shield, her beacon, her legacy. These are not exceptions reserved for the extraordinary. They are reminders that every human being holds the same key. The difference lies only in the courage to use it. And perhaps you feel that stirring within you now, a quiet voice rising as you listen, daring to claim a new identity. Do not ignore it. It is your subconscious answering back, ready to be reprogrammed. This is why repetition matters. This is why emotion matters. This is why embodiment matters. Because you are not tricking yourself. You are training yourself. You are not lying to yourself. You are liberating yourself from the lies of the past. Now let me invite you gently. If this journey resonates with you, if you feel the shift already happening in your chest as you imagine your new I am, then know this,
It is only the beginning. Misty Wave exists to guide you deeper into these truths, blending psychology, philosophy, and spirit into cinematic journeys. Subscribe and let each video become a mirror where you discover more of who you already are. But let us return one last time to the essence of it all. Think of your life as a canvas. Every day your words are brushstrokes. For years, perhaps, you have painted with dull colors. I am tired. I am unlucky. I am not enough. The canvas reflects it faithfully. But tonight, you hold a new palette, vibrant, bold, luminous. With 2 words, I am, you choose the hues. Will you paint despair, or will you paint destiny? And here is the final secret. You are not waiting for permission. The world may not yet see it. The evidence may not yet appear. But just as Muhammad Ali declared greatness before the victories, just as Jim Carrey wrote the check before the roll, just as Mandela carried freedom within chains, so too can you declare before proof arrives. Because proof does not precede belief. Belief creates proof. So when the video ends and silence returns, ask yourself this: what 2 words will echo in that silence? What I am will you choose to carry into tomorrow?
We began with a question. How can 2 words shape the course of a life? And across this journey, we've seen the answer unfold. Through Jung's vision of the subconscious, through science and neuroplasticity, through stories of legends and ordinary people, through shadows of doubt and the persistence that overcomes them. Now the circle closes. Those words, I am, are no longer abstract. They are alive. They are the script you whisper into your subconscious each day, whether you realize it or not. The only question is, will you choose them with intention, or will you let old wounds choose for you? Pause here. Take a breath. Close your eyes if you can. Whisper a phrase you have longed to believe but never dared to say. I am worthy. I am free. I am whole. I am loved. Let it land. Let it echo. Notice how your body responds. The subtle softening, the shift in breath, the glimmer of possibility. That is the subconscious listening. That is the new identity planting itself like a seed. Remember the loops we opened together. The child standing before a mirror, whispering, I am, and unknowingly shaping a lifetime. Tonight, you stand as that child again, only this time, you choose differently. The shadow that resisted, whispering old doubts. Tonight, you face it with compassion, and you answer back. The sculptor, striking the marble, unsure at first, but persistent until form emerged. Tonight, you are that sculptor, shaping your own soul. And when the resistance comes tomorrow, and it will, remember this truth: the louder the old story protests, the closer you are to its end. Do not quit at the threshold. Whisper again, repeat again, embody again, until the false dissolves and the true remains. Because the secret is simple. You already are what you declare. The subconscious does not wait for evidence. It becomes the evidence. You are not speaking into emptiness. You are speaking into being. So, ask yourself one last time, what I am will you carry into tomorrow?
Will you carry I am broken? Or will you choose I am healing? Will you carry I am unlucky? Or will you claim I am abundant? Will you carry I am invisible? Or will you rise with I am seen? The choice has always been yours. As this journey ends, a new one begins. 2 words, infinite futures. The subconscious awaits your command. And if tonight's exploration has stirred something inside you, if you feel the call to dive deeper into the mysteries of the mind, into the union of psychology, philosophy, and spirit, then let this be only the beginning. Subscribe to Misty Wave, not because algorithms demand it, but because your soul deserves to walk further into light. Every video, another doorway. Every story, another mirror. Every word, another chance to rewrite your I am. Because you are not just a viewer, you are the author, and the pen is in your hands. So when the screen fades to black, let these 2 words echo in your heart as a vow. I am becoming.